has come to an end. Though I'm not entirely sure it's fair to say it's come to an end. It's just been waylaid. Anywho, Ken, how are you doing today? How's life?
I am incredibly tired. I've barely been sleeping.
Anywho, sounds about right. Ken, how are you doing today? How's life? Still cursed by Yumido?
Even worse than usual.
Worse than like 3 hours of sleep a day?
Yeah, that's about getting.
Bummer, man. Do you take anything for that?
Well, see, but then I have difficulty concentrating the next day due to that, and it's almost slightly worse than if I just don't sleep the amount that I should sleep.
Oh, I get you. I'd always be scared to like get addicted to whatever sleep medicine I take.
Yeah, that would especially be a concern since it seems like it takes higher than normal dosages for anything I have tried before. Hell, even melatonin, 9 milligrams, won't knock me out.
Dang. I knew a girl whose mom was addicted to NyQuil. Are you a skinny guy or?
I am.
So it's weird that it
I
takes that much to put you out.
I am horrifically twig-like. For most of my adult life, I have been 5'10" and about 120.
Nice.
I'm skinny.
On those cold Canadian winters, you just like have to anchor your feet down to the ground so you don't fly away.
There have been that have threatened to take me away before.
Beautiful. Alrighty, for our faithful viewers, which is me on Saturday morning, re-listening to the audio to take notes. So for
So I think that one individual couldn't deal with my horrible mic sounds.
I, well, luckily we're gonna be getting a lot of you today, so
I know, it's going to be their favorite.
our dear friend Chris is in our hearts and mind as he had a visit to the doctor to make, so he is out of commission for a little bit. And our dear friend Josh has joined Doctors Without Borders. He is providing health care to those in underprivileged countries. So I assume. So you're stuck with my two least favorite people in the group, Ken and Chris. And today is our very
I
special.
I am.
Pardon, Ken, you are breaking up, and this is off to a great start.
I realize I'm a bit vexing.
Oh yes, quite vexing. Today is our special Rokugan Halloween episode, where Yasuki Matsuhide, the Hinen Toyuya, and Ken's newest friend, Toritaka. I left her name in the other room. So for that, we're going to go to Google and we're going to Google us a name. This is what I get for taking notes on note cards and not on my computer.
Old school.
Multiple note cards. Alright.
There at least a nicer about.
Toritaka Kaiketsu. Sounds like a great name. It also happens to be the current daimyo, so that's exciting.
That is shiny.
Yeah, it's a coincidence. This one isn't the real daimyo.
Spider-Man.
So, Matsuhide, on his, trip to Nisake after leaving the 100 Stances Dojo as the sensei on the final day, he rendezvous with the illustrious Toritaka Kaiketsu, as we all recall, Kenneth sent a letter to his daimyo saying that he was possessed by a spirit. He requested a Toritaka to come check him out to make sure he wasn't tainted. So
it's almost like I'm a superstitious crab for some reason.
Almost. It's almost like you grew up on the wall, or I don't know. So you meet up with this illustrious Toritaka in a small village called Swamp's End. Woo! Which is an unaligned or an imperial town in an imperial province, which is run by the Maya, or Mia. How's you can pronounce it?
It's the latter.
Malay.
Wait.
Me.
Yes. I had to remember a moment the order that you said it. I have not got the best concentration today.
It's fine. Good thing this isn't a mystery or anything. Yeah. The illustrious Toritaka Kaiketsu is a middle-aged monkish lady. She has a long gnarled wooden staff that has a large chunk of jade made into like a pretty primitive spear. She's got all sorts of feathers and fetishes hanging on that spear, and the Rokugani equivalent of holy symbols carved on it. She's got salt and pepper long hair tied into a no-nonsense ponytail, and she's wearing some pretty Spartan monkish robes as well. Two of you meet up. She does her Toritaka thing, holds a piece of jade, stares at you longingly, finds that you're not tainted, which we all know to be 100% the truth.
Yes, absolutely.
Matsuhide is not even a little bit tainted.
It's just not possible. I mean, I've never been to the Shadowlands yet.
How could you be tainted if you haven't even been to the Shadowlands? Oh well, moving on, and she asked you about your experience in the dojo, and you tell her, and she's very interested, and she goes, oh, interesting. She writes some notes and gives you some herbs to eat for the next few weeks, just to make sure your spiritual system gets cleansed and all, and also helps to prevent cavities and such. Most useful. And though you're eager to go to Nisake and get that helm of the water dragon and make your daimyo proud, she waylays you for a moment and asks you if you would be so kind as to help her on a mission for her lord.
Helping a fellow crab is in their duties is pretty much my duty.
Pretty much. You're just the Johnny Appleseed of the crab.
I mean, that's what the Yasuki do. They're logistical support.
Yep. And she brightens up and goes, "Oh, excellent. I was sent on a mission to help out a local media lord who's been having trouble with some Gaki in her region. And this seemed like somewhat of a tall order for a lone monk, so I was hoping to have a little bit of assistance. I was gonna try to round out whatever he and I could around here, but fate has brought us together for this most auspicious of time."
Fortunately, such a well-renowned crab warrior as myself came by.
And nobody can see it, but your loyal Heenan ally, your new Heenan ally, rolls her eyes.
After all, I'm sensei of 100 Stances Dojo. In case you have...
Most impressive. That's the... Boy, I'm sure impressed. I'm sure once you fully return to the Crablands, they will be eager to study under your wise mentorship. A master of the 100 stances is a valuable asset for our clan.
As a side, I still can't believe I won that duel. I went in there fully expecting to fall flat on my face.
The best part was how you won it, which was
Yes.
maintaining the tradition of the 100 stances.
We have now permanently altered that dojo.
You may have become sensei, but I think we can all agree that Miyamoto Bo is the one that left the lasting impression on the fighting style. Alright, then she brightens up, gives you a, I don't know, crab handshake. Because crabs touch.
Yeah, what weirdos.
I know. And bids you to begin following her. And thus I will provide you with some information on what's going on. You're in a very small province. It's run by Mia. That is of no large importance to anybody. It's somewhere between Scorpion Land and Phoenix Land. And the quickest way from the 100 Stances Dojo to Nisake is through this small sliver of a province. It's got some unimportant farmland, and then the key geographical feature is that, bizarrely enough, there's a mangrove swamp, like smack dab in the middle of everything, that takes up most of the province. So the village of Swamp Inns is a very rural type of town. A lot of the buildings are on stilts because the ground in the mangroves is rooty and very muddy and soggy. So they're on stilts to prevent flooding. And they do a lot of fishing, and there's some very valuable herbs to be gathered in the swamps. And then Lord Mia, who you guys will be helping out today, she resides on a large island which is in the middle of the swamps, and doesn't really provide any tactical significance, but it's kind of a palace more than an actual castle, because there's miles of mangrove swamp between the army would have to go through in order to get to the castle, so it's not a well fortified place. And from talking to Kaketsu, you learn that a few months ago, people have been reporting that there's been lots of Gaki activity within the swamps. And Lord Mia has called in the Toritaka to see if she can perform an exorcism to get rid of them. If you're paying attention, you might notice that the dates that the Gaki started showing up kind of correlate with when you faded into Mido for a few minutes.
Oh, pretty.
So that's strange, right? Oh. So,
It's almost like some sort of supernatural weakening of the barriers between different planes of existence at that time.
indeed, I was hoping this winter I'd be able to relax now that the clan wars are over and all, but I've been busier than ever. I don't much like to travel in the winter. Yeah. So you're in the small village of Swamp's End. Like I said, all the huts and whatnot are on stilts. It's kind of big for what you'd expect, but still very rural. And these are obviously country bumpkins. You see there's about one samurai in the village who's just doing patrols for his mistress, and you take one look at him and you're like, oh, country samurai, no doubt. And yeah, most of the
No, country samurai versus crab samurai. How much different are they, really?
as soon as I was saying it, I was like, he wouldn't even care.
He's a crab.
Yeah. We had a crane in this group. Different story. So,
Even, I mean, they're cultured. They're dishonorable, but cultured.
to get to the Isle, you're gonna be taking a skiff across the mangrove swamps into the estate. But if you want to do any questioning around the village before we head in, just let me know.
I think the only real questions I'd have at the moment is where the Gaki tend to show up, and about how often, and when.
Toritaka effortlessly answers that. The Gaki all appear on the island which Mia has set up her abode. They all appear on that island, and they only appear at nighttime.
Green night, or
Just about. That's why
okay.
she's calling, because at night, the whole island pretty much shuts all their doors and closes their windows. And
That isn't exactly the best situation, no.
no, not at all. And so, Toritaka throws some boo at a local ferryman, and you guys climb on inside. It's Toritaka, Toyuya, and the ferryman at the front of the boat, and then it's Kenneth, his heavy armor, his Caillou blade, and his helm of the Earth Dragon on the other side. And even with all that, the boat still kind of is heavily weighted towards the back.
Boy, it would be a real shame if I took my helmet off right now.
I'm taking you all with me. You just drop it through the bottom of the boat. Alright, you guys, yeah, like I said, you all climb aboard and you are taken through the swamp by the ferryman known as Bay. And Bay happily brags that he is the greatest ferryman within these parts, and nobody knows the swamps quite like he. In that, whenever anybody has to get to the island, he's the guy to talk to because he knows the mangrove swamps like nobody else. And as you guys are traveling through these mangrove swamps here, he's effortlessly gliding you guys through the murky water, and you'll notice there's banks of mud and roots that have kind of made sandbars that he's going around. But when you get close to those islands, you see there's large salamander-like looking creatures that are all just kind of laying out there on the mud, chilling, relaxing. They look like salamanders, but they've got long pointed snouts and some nasty looking teeth. And where salamanders usually look wet and muddy and slimy, these guys look scaly and kind of mean. And there's a lot of them.
That sounds like some sort of monitor lizard.
Something like a what?
Something like a monitor lizard?
Oh, now I have to look that up.
Photo dragons are one big example of monitor lizard, but there's various types.
Oh. Cool. When I was a kid, I loved Komodo dragons. Because they're so... Oh my god, there's a picture of a elephant picking one up. That might be my new Skype picture. Yeah, it's early in the morning when you guys are traveling, and it's gonna take you a few hours to actually get there. And kind of as you're traveling through this, you're like, why would anybody build an estate all the way back here? But this lady's a Mia, so she doesn't really have to worry about money that much.
There's also the other factor. Why would you build a place that obviously is going to smell? Any sort of land I've encountered has tended to reek.
Oh, no doubt. This place smells like a swamp. Okay, the island which you guys will be going on to is Ono Tengu Scar Island. And a bolt of lightning crashes through the air as a ferryman announces that.
That must be superstitious as hell, considering all the lightning that was happening at the Stances dojo.
Yeah, you're like, Osada, whoa, no!
Osada, oh, more of you. Why? I thought we were done with you.
And the ferryman who is dutifully... Sorry, just making sure the stream is alright. Who's dutifully leading you guys through the swamps. He's kind of chewing on some grass as he's paddling his way through the water, making sure not to hit any of those lizards you see lying around. And he goes, so what brings y'all to Onotengu Scar Island? Don't get many samurai visitors back here.
You know, I suspected you were going to bring out the southern accent. I thought you'd go more Cajun simply because of the fact that mangrove swamp kind of harkens to the swampy land, kind of harkens to
I was being
Louisiana.
merciful to you. If you want full on Cajun, I can bring.
God, I can't help but be curious.
All right, answer his question, then we'll see how Cajun he gets.
Okay. Well, I merely was passing through, but Toritaka sound requested some assistance.
Ah, yes, you are paying me a great favor. I will remember to repay you one day.
Ah, excellent, excellent.
A favor. Excellent. So, y'all looking into the ghosts that been haunting these parts?
Technically speaking, they're not ghosts.
Oh? What
You
are
know,
they technically? And Toritaka opens her mouth, and for the next 15 minutes, everybody is cowed into silence as she repeats her encyclopedic knowledge on the difference between ghosts and Gaki. And
his poor peasant brain is sure to explode.
his eyes are rolled into the back of his head, and he's just convulsing as he's overloaded with knowledge. Delicious knowledge. And he kind of goes, oh, that's, real interesting. But, I think it's ghosts. It's the ghosts of, the old bandits who used to live in these parts. Yep.
Bandits, you say? What was their fate?
Oh, yeah. There was an old Ronin bandit who used to live in these parts. They say that, he raided from here all the way to Zakotoshi. And whenever he came back with spoils, he would bury it somewhere in the swamp. And then one day, he and his entire Ronin band up and disappeared in these very swamps.
Side note, the moment that you said treasure buried, Yasuki leaned the hell in. Money, you say?
Oh, yep, money, and lots of it. Folks from all around come into these parts looking for that treasure. They go into that swamp, and they don't never come back. Cause see, long before your Gaki, how does Southern say Gaki? Long before they came in here, we had real ghosts haunting these parts. Real monsters.
And what by that?
Oh, you know. Chris dropping flash drives. People go missing. Whole boats full of supplies go missing. Stuff like that. I have a cousin who claimed that some sort of monster ripped her skin right from her friend's body and wore it around for a week.
I looked the Toritaka up.
And she's renews her grip on the spear, and she's like, those are some disturbing tales. I'm surprised a member of my order hasn't been here to check them out before. And, you know, he's like, oh, plenty people been around to check. Some say there's nothing to do here. Some just up and disappear. Everyone's just like, what the heck?
You'd think that the disappearances would have drawn even more attention.
Yep, yep, yep. I reckon it would. I reckon it would. I reckon that's why you folks are here, right? She's like, no, we only just recently heard about these Gaki. We've never heard anything about that in this region.
Nor have I. I was honestly simply passing through.
And Toyuya kind of moves across the boat towards you, and she's like, I think this guy's just making up stories.
Well, considering the other activity, who knows?
I will, of course, defer to your wisdom, Samurai-sama. Let's see, give me a good name for a Ronin.
Um, I'm not good with names on the fly. We'll go with Jin. We'll go with Jin. It's single syllable. Sounds Ronin-y.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so it was the Ronin bandit Jin who hunted around these parts and lost his treasure deep within the swamp. So the legend claims. And after an hour and a half more of that, you guys finally arrive at Onotengu Scar Island, which is a large swath of dry land which rises above the swamp waters miraculously, and there's a small dock set up for you guys. Not you guys, but skiffs like this guy to dock at. And so you do so. He throws the rope around the dock. Everybody gets out. You get out first, and when you do, the boat lifts up to the other side. Because you're so heavy. And everybody else scurries out. You'll notice down by the dock there's a little kind of hut set away for good old Bay, the ferryman, because now it's the afternoon. He kind of has a little hut on the island. He has a little hut back at Swamp Inn Village that he lives at, depending on the time of day. And so he does his work at the dock and lets you guys know that he'll be here whenever you're ready to head back to town. And he tells you all to look out for them Oni. Ooh. Let's see, Onotengu Scar Island is shaped like a crescent moon within the swamp. In the middle of it, there's a 2-story castle. It's not really made out of... It's made out of stone and everything, but sparingly and very light. It's mostly wood and paper screens in such a way because they don't want to make a building too heavy or else it'll sink into the island and explode. But it seems to be well maintained, despite the humidity is probably hell on that rice paper. But you will notice through through the small bit of the island that you're going through. All around the castle and the shoreline that you were working through, the grounds are immaculately well kept. There are all sorts of flowers which maybe shouldn't survive in this type of humidity that are thriving, and there's just bouquets everywhere and some trees which are starting to bloom and everything, and even though it's still early spring, everything looks very good. Everything seems to have survived the winter quite well.
Yeah, I haven't been around Imperials much. They seem a lot like Crane.
Toritaka stifles a laugh and she says, "Alright, we better get comments like that out of the way before we head into the castle. Who knows what sort of art they have hanging on their walls." And as she says that, 4 Mia guards approach you, and there's a man in a black and green kimono who comes out to greet you as well. He's got a short cut hair, so he's got like the buzz cut going on, and his hair is completely blonde. His eyelashes are blonde. His eyebrows are blonde, and he is undoubtedly albino.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. And he bows to his guests and says, "Greetings, I am Mia-jin, and welcome to Onotengu Scar Island. I am a captain of the guard here on the island, and I'm here to escort you to my lady."
Hopefully, we can get this resolved the way it needs to be.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Jin. Please, lead the way. And he takes you guys and bids you to follow the guards, following him, and you guys following the guards, and Toyuya following you guys. She keeps her distance. She's got her yari, I guess. You guys travel up from the docks along the beautifully lined road which snakes across the island. There's hedges, there's flowers. It's very nice. Along the way you do see who seems to be the only gardener on the entire plantation. You just see one dude working on flowers. He's hunched over some like a wood chipped area, and he's kind of churning that up, and he sees you guys, and he has one of those wide brim hats, right? And he takes it and he kind of slides it over his face as you guys pass by. And as you head over across the island, you eventually come at the steps of the tower, or the steps of the castle. And the whole castle is lined by I guess it wouldn't be a moat if it's in the swamp. That seems like bad planning.
Quite catch that.
It'll be a flower bed that surrounds the entire castle. Very nice.
Oh.
They're not expecting a siege anytime soon. And for what you've noticed, just going across the province, this particular lord doesn't seem to have many samurai at her disposal. She has like just enough to keep Ronin and everything out, but other than that, no like real standing army, which is understandable. She's a Mia lord and she's also an imperial, so she doesn't exactly have to worry about being attacked by another clan or anything.
I can't help now. From with the cat.
Ken, you're cutting out. I can't hear you.
I can't help but remember all of a sudden that one scene from Monty Python and the Holy Grail with the castle in the swamp.
Yes, excellent. I mean, if you want to go on that murder spree, I won't stop you, but let's see where the night takes us first. Yeah, you guys were brought before the castle. Again, it's a nice castle. Not well fortified, and as a crab, you kind of sniff your nose at this. As you immediately just identify several tactical key points that could very easily be overrun by goblins. Let alone Gaki.
God, it's almost like they're not prepared for what's in the Shadowlands and what's going to come in the next year.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, I don't. Right. I didn't take the advantage of inner gift foresight. I don't know that.
I mean, if you look through the Wikipedia, there's like 50 different people who had visions that the War of Darkfire and the Destroyer War were going to happen. So the fact that they weren't supremely prepared for it is a little sad.
I don't want that gift, though.
You're right. You're all stopped and, presented in a line with your loyal, God, what's the name for a peasant squire?
Badoka.
Badoka, yeah. There's another word that I want to say, but that's a very inappropriate word. I didn't want to risk saying it and being wrong.
Oh.
Anyway. Baka. There we go. You're all set up in a line, and out from the castle comes who you assume must be Mia Kukui. She's got her green and gold imperial kimono on, very vibrant. It's got those long flowing sleeves and kind of a tail that goes behind her. She gracefully steps down the steps, and you can't even notice her head bobbing as she goes down the steps. She just seems to glide effortlessly down the steps as she approaches you guys. Very courtier, very regal. She's beautiful, of course. Her face is made up perfectly, if at all. I'm not sure what the standards are. I know about geisha.
I suddenly wonder whether Rokugan does the black tooth thing.
Ken, I've been waiting to find the right NPC to have black teeth. And also have the koyuya, or the eyebrows that are just two little dots. Anyway, this isn't her, but there will be an NPC one day. When the political stuff starts training, there'll be one. And how could I not write it down? Ken, what did I say the Master of the Guard's name was?
Oh, I've already forgotten.
You fail me. Oh well, couldn't have been that important. Let's go with, let's see, Bay was the... Again, I've got this notepad, I'm trying to make sense out of it. I've just got the word Bant on here, and I have no idea what that means. He'll just be Ryu. Why not?
Okay.
His name suddenly changes as Captain of the Guard Ryu steps forward and introduces Mia Kukui. And Toritaka bows. Toyuya gets on her hands and knees and bows to the Lord. And Matsuhide, what's he do?
Does the little bow and then offers a handshake.
And she looks at your hand questioningly for a moment and moves on. Oh, you were...
Actually, he wouldn't do the handshake thing. That's more a unicorn thing.
Yeah. He goes ahead and gives her a big bear hug. Oh. Get into character here. Oh, welcome to my island. You're most well-received guest, Honored Toritaka and Yojimbo. She looks at you questioningly.
No, I simply was another crab passing through and figured I should help out a fellow member of my clan.
Oh, that is very accommodating of you. I'm sure you will find the pleasures of my island equally as accommodating. It is a pleasure to meet you. What was your name?
I am Yasuki Matsuhide,
Yasuki
He's-
Matsuhide.
the sensei of the 100 Stances Dojo.
Oh, I'm not familiar. Is this a prestigious appointment?
Why, yes, it is. In fact, it's administered by the Seppun.
Oh, then I feel as if I feel as if I should be better informed on it. I'll make sure to do my due research in the future. And she moves on from you, and she addresses the Toritaka. And the two of them exchange several words for a second. Make me an investigation roll.
With this normal stat?
Yeah. Let's make it awareness. This is more of a social thing.
Oh, awareness? Okay, never mind. That's the same for me, so that's my roll.
Boy, she sure has a fancy looking kimono. That's what you noticed. They exchange a few words and, they discuss the Gaki problem, and Toritaka's like, oh, I'm sure I'll be able to suss out what's going on and help you out. I'm trained in this. My family has a long history of doing this. And she's like, yes, thank you. That's all great. I really appreciate your help. Then she kind of walks around you guys and gives you another look. She's been eyeing you up this entire time, trying to gain your mettle. She's a courtier. You're kind of used to this look from a courtier. And then
I have to wonder what she thinks of my eyes, considering she has a similarly strange-looking individual in her court.
I'll think about that. One day, I'll remember to do that thing I've been meaning to do about your eyes. As she's passing around you guys, she spots Toyuya, who's still bowed, and she kind of quirks an eyebrow and goes, "Who is this?"
Why, it's my Badoka.
And she goes, "Oh, rise, young lady, rise." And Toyuya does so, and she gives her a very Kukui gives her a very interested look, and she's looking her up and down. She goes, "What's your name?" And Toyoya stammers out, Toyoya. Because up until recently, she's never even talked to a samurai, and now she's talking to a,
Imperial.
yeah, an imperial, so life's gotten weird. Her dad's dead. She's still mourning. And the imperial goes, "Oh, Toyoya, that's a beautiful name." And she takes both of her hands and clasps Toyoya's hands within them. And she goes, "You
As
are..."
a side,
Yes.
the sound she makes when she's pondering makes me think of the Chamberlain Skeksis from Dark Crystal.
Boy, Kim, that all just went so over my head.
Oh, too dated a reference.
I guess so.
I suppose. When was that movie made? Dear God, I'm sure Chris would have gotten it.
Chris gets all your references, and I'm just like, meh.
Oh wow, that was a 1982 movie.
There you go. A little before
That was before I was born, but you know, recent enough that I've seen it.
me. Well, hey man, I'm sure I'm sure it was a great reference.
It was. If anyone is watching, I might get a comment on it. Who knows? We'll see.
Tomorrow morning I'll be like, yeah, Dark Crystal, Chris. See, she clasps both of Toyoya's hands within her own hands. And she goes, "Oh, Toyoya, you are a beautiful young woman. It is my sincere honor to be able to meet your acquaintance." Dark Crystal. Holy crap, what is this game?
It is a very old 80s movie made by Jim Henson.
Oh, really? Interesting.
With a significantly darker set of themes than is typical for him.
Is it worth watching?
It's fairly decent. Here's just a link to the whimpers that I'm talking about. That you'll see why I say it's similar.
That's gonna be my new ringtone.
What have I done?
I love stuff like that. Anyway. Yeah, sincere honor. And a beauty of your status should not sully herself by residing within the servants' chambers. I will give you a room on the second story. Young Toyoya.
Oh, snap.
She turns towards both of you and says, "My thanks for bringing this great beauty into my land. Now, I'm sure you have work to do, so if there's anything I can do to assist with that, please let me know." Alright, Mr. Kin, give yourself the appropriate amount of honor for ignoring a social faux pas.
Let me just quickly check what that is, because I do not have that table up normally. Let me see. Ignoring. Where are you? Slightly ignoring. Okay, I am at what level of honor? I I don't remember what I was at because it kept going up and down last session.
You almost got to 3, but then you intimidated.
Oh, but then I did
Matsu.
get to 3. I did get to 3 after, as a result of I can't remember what after the whole duel thing. There was something that gave me a little bit of honor.
I think it might just be being the.
Oh right, yeah, right. That was it.
All right, so you get
So
nothing.
I'm now at 3, so I do not get anything special for that. I just barely have enough honor that nothing happens.
There's the internal monologue as Matsuhita is like, "Hey, that's pretty great of me for ignoring that weird behavior," and then you're like, "But I am the sensei. I guess it wasn't that honorable."
It's kind of expected of me at this point.
Yeah. Oh, the life of a rank 3 honor Bushi. It's not an easy one.
It's more honor than I typically have.
And a tour of the estate is offered by her being Kukui. She offers to personally escort you guys around the castle. Toritaka, of course, accepts it, and Toyuya is pulled along with it. But Matsuhide, of course, has the opportunity to shoot off on his own.
I see no reason to split off. I don't know these people, and this is a weird place with all sorts of shiny things that I'm not allowed to try and barter for. Matsuhide is kind of crass when it comes to commerce, but he knows better than to do it in the presence of, Imperials.
Yeah, of course. He's got some class. That being said, the tour begins. You guys head into the castle, and the tour really starts. When the door slides open and you're assaulted with the wonderful smell of whatever's cooking in the kitchen. You guys have to head through the kitchen as part of the tour. Of course. As you head inside, you see there's lots of cloves of garlic and other more socially acceptable spices hanging on reefs and everything in the kitchen. And there's a young Heenan busily working her way through the kitchen, making spinning plates on a bunch of different pans full of boiling liquids and stuff like that. This is the kitchen. It's where we cook stuff, as you might expect. That's my wonderful cook. She gives a name. I won't, because this is just a...
It's just a normal random Heenan.
Yeah, it's just a normal NPC. They barely have names at the best of times.
Yeah, like the several sessions that several of the other students at the dojo who were actually in the rankings didn't have actual names.
Yep.
I mean, some of them only got names immediately before they died.
It's like in Lost, where the moment you reach self-actualization, it's gonna be in the same episode that you die. So
I have not seen Lost, so the reference is lost on me.
Not to sin. Well, basically, every time a character, finally comes to terms with their past, it's probably the episode that they die. The whole thing. Also, if your character dies, they probably start getting more screen time. Ironically.
That's sensible.
There's lots of flashbacks. Anyway, so she leads you through that. There's a library on the first story, of course. There's bookshelves full of scrolls, and a grand fireplace, nonsensically. There's some nice furniture as well lining this place. There's some exotic rugs from the Ivory Kingdom as well, rolled out on the place. Very kosher. And
This is all very weird to my crab self.
I don't understand Imperials. See, and there's the dining hall. It's a long table set up with the mats as well for everyone to enjoy what's cooking in the kitchen. And then there should be a fourth room. What's in the fourth room, Ken? You can't ho-hum your way.
Perhaps a veranda of some sort. That counts as a room, doesn't it?
There we go. What's in the veranda?
A small sitting area.
Cool.
And art supplies.
Art supplies. Yeah. What sort of craft does Mia Kukui enjoy to do in her free time?
I would say painting, but I can't imagine painting a swamp over and over would be particularly exciting. It sounds very brown.
We'll say she enjoys sewing. She's very into fashion.
Here we go.
So less art and more of a craft, but she has lots of silk and pattern thrown about this veranda. She's sewing some kimonos, it looks like. Very chic. She leads you upstairs, which is all dedicated to bedrooms and chambers and such. And you're escorted to your small room with the mat, the daisho, and the prayer stand where you can get set up for the day if you want to drop off any of your equipment.
Let me just quickly check again what I put in his traveling pack, because it might just be the sort of thing that I can't remember whether it was this character or a different one that is basically... Okay, yeah, he's basically packed up in the sort of way where he's ready to go anywhere.
Okay. He's not a 19 Lucky Crickets or whatever it was.
No, he's very practical. He's got... Here's the list of what I ended up giving him. Chopsticks, coin purse, cooking pot, flint and tinder, ink brush kit, parchment and charcoal, personal steel, small knife, small tent, and a whetstone.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, it's almost like he's trying to be a warrior and not a courtier.
Almost. And you know what? He's doing pretty well.
He's doing much better than his actual skills imply he should.
Yeah, he's just intimidating his way through the world. It's Yusuke Matsuhide versus the world. Yeah, so you set down your traveling pack.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. I assume you keep your armor and stuff.
Yeah. Who knows if I'll need it? It sounds like I'll need it.
Yeah. When you're getting called in to extinguish a Gaki problem, might be wise to keep your stuff in hand. And then, yeah, after checking out the mansion, can you mute yourself, please?
Oh, sorry.
That's right. Hey, shout out to that one guy who gets annoyed with Kin's voice with his mic.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Nice.
You poor bastard.
Don't worry.
I know how bad it is. I do know. I just am a very cheap individual. Almost like this crap.
It's like when somebody makes fun of a comment like, oh man, you smell. You're like, at least you can get away from it. I'm stuck in this cloud. Yeah, after setting down your pack, making this room a home, you guys head back outside, and she kind of says, well, there's the castle. Deal with that Gaki problem. I have faith in you all. And she leaves you to your devices, and Kin, it's time to start investigating.
Alrighty.
I hope you've made your list of suspects, your points of interest, everything I know you didn't do.
Kind of noted things mentally a bit, but beyond that, not much.
Don't worry, I didn't write down what the name of the guard was. So.
Again?
No, his name's Ryu now, but...
Okay.
I'm gonna listen to this tomorrow morning and be like, oh yeah!
Well, first thing I'd do is probably go talk to Toritaka-san a bit.
Okie doke. She's getting some jade fingers in order.
I've still got mine hanging from my neck.
You do. They're all A-okay.
Toritaka-san, I don't know all that much about Gaki. I mean, I fought and killed a Mahotsukai before, but I've not dealt with Gaki. What's different?
And then we flash back to a Phoenix Void Shugenja who is
Who just
returning.
banished them out of existence.
Yep. Yeah, the winter's over, so that band of people is making their journey back to Phoenix Land. So.
Boy, that's going to suck when they get back.
I know. Only one guy survived. What's different about Gaki than what?
Than fighting, for instance, zombies and Mahotsukai.
Oh, well, Gaki, for instance, are insubstantial, so they can't be hurt by physical weapons. They can be hurt by magic, jade, or crystal, but a normal sword will go right through them. And
Well, that's not ideal. All I've got is my Kaiju blade. And me without any jade powder on me.
and she shoots you like, as if to say, only a Kaiju blade. They can move through solid objects that aren't warded because they don't have a physical form. But of course, they can still harm your physical form, even though you can't harm theirs. If you're weak-willed, they can travel into your body and take possession of it. And, of course, as bearer of the health of their helm of the Earth Dragon, you don't think you have to worry about that. See, certain Gakis there's like 27 different Gaki, but some of them can eat dreams, so they can prevent you from getting a full night's rest. Many a samurai have been driven crazy by those type of Gaki. But some hunger for flesh, some just like to eat silk and eat kimonos, some eat wood. It all depends on the type of Gaki we have going on right now.
You've obviously been the one dispatched here. Were there any clues as to what we were dealing with?
Well, from my cursory inspection of, the surroundings, there's been no wood with bite marks in it, and all the silk seems to be intact. So, to me, it seems to point towards some of the flesh-eating or dream-eating ones. They seem to be full-body apparitions and not bugs, which they can sometimes appear as. And so, that's what I think. Although, I do find it strange that, despite them being hostile towards the inhabitants of the island, they haven't passed into the threshold of the castle yet.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself.
So I'm
They
wondering.
didn't mention fighting them.
No, they didn't. They just say that they hold themselves up into the castle at night. And maybe these Gaki can't pass through solid objects because the ferryman seemed to have his own abode on the island, and he's alive.
Yeah, I found that strange as well.
All questions which have answers, no doubt.
What time is it presently?
It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
And at whatever latitude we're at, what time is sunset roughly?
We'll say you have 4 hours.
Okay.
Okay. I feel perhaps we should divide our efforts to find more area. Perhaps I will look into the spiritual nature of things on the island, and you can investigate any physical signs.
That sounds suitable to me. I don't know anything about Gaki, other than what you've just taught me.
Well, it's been a pleasure teaching you. I will seek to find a weapon suitable for you if tonight's affairs are indeed to be violent.
Well, the first person I want to check out is that gardener, because he looked kind of weird when we went by.
Very well. I will investigate the perimeter, the castle, to see if there might be any wards or anything placed that we were not informed about.
You'd think they'd let us know, considering they asked for help.
I'd think so too, but old castles can hold old secrets, and they themselves might not know about
Don't I know it? I was in Borlands for a while.
it. Oh, really? You're in the Twilight Mountains? That must have been very interesting.
It's where I killed my first Mahotsukai.
Oh, well, very impressed. I remember my first Mahotsukai. It was the winter of 57. I was all by. I'm getting distracted. Let's. We'll reconvene later and talk about this.
We can tell stories on the road.
Very good. And Toya starts to follow you, and she's like, "What would you like me to do?" And before you can finish those words, she can finish those words. There's a calling from down the hall by Mia Kukui. She's waving her hand. She's like, "Oh, Matsuhide, I hope you don't mind terribly, but I'd love to steal Toya from you for a while."
Well, considering there's nothing to fight right now, sure. If and I'm not even going to give her the chance to say no. She's just a peasant.
And so she's like grabbed by the arm and wrist whisked away, and the whole time she's staring at you pleadingly as she's being run down the hallway.
Too bad. She's a peasant. I don't care what happens to her beyond her usefulness.
Aww. Picked the wrong character for this one shot. Very good, very good. You want to investigate the gardener?
Yep.
Alrighty, so you head outside, you tour the grounds for a little bit, looking for signs of the gardener. And eventually you come to find that you can't find hide nor hair of the fellow. So you head over to a guard, and he informs you that last I saw he was heading out for a walk on the uninhabited side of the island. Which is, of course, where all the Gaki come from at night. That side of the island is much more, it's not as high, so it's a lot wetter, there's more trees and roots and whatnot.
I'd probably strut out after him.
Excellent, excellent. You pass the threshold where all his gardening has bore fruit. And, yeah, so there's a point where the hedges and flowers are no longer planted in beautiful rows. And, just turns to grass, and then eventually to mud, and then to roots, and into a thickly forested area. Do you want to make a tracking roll for me? Or hunting?
That's okay. I don't think I have any ranks in that, so this is gonna suck.
A 10? No, I don't know. This is kind of muddy area. I feel like footprints would stay around. Let's roll a sneak for him. Lose honor. I'll give it to you, Ken. Mud's a thing.
Okay.
You see a pair of footsteps leading further into the forest. You think, haha, I've got you now. And you go after them.
I don't see why not.
Excellent, excellent.
What the hell is this guy doing out here, after all?
Exactly. You travel through the forest for a little bit more. You're following these footsteps, and They seem to, not that your 10 should give you any information whatsoever, but I'm a great guy, so I'll give it to you. He's not going in a straight line, like he has a set course that he's heading towards. He seems to be like doing a grid sort of walk through the forest. And as you're trying to make heads or tails of that, you hear what sounds like a long, ethereal moaning sound. Make an investigation.
Jesus, I'm getting bad rolls. Wait, why is it 3K3? Oh, I rolled games. That's why.
You hear a long
So-
moan, and then you reach into your kimono, you pull out a pair of dice, and you throw it.
Okay, time to roll the proper thing.
Hey, excellent. I'm just looking up the stats for it real quick. And I can't find it, because it's not in this book, it's in the core book. But as you very well past that, you're right, there are just ghosts. There we go, Fear 3. As you are you search and you hear that moan and you cock your head to one side, and out from a tree you see the form of a body kind of like pulling out from it, a ghostly, shadowy figure pulling out from the tree and reaching out for you. Roll a fear check for me.
Thankfully, I had one of those prepared.
And you got that shiny new 3 points of honor.
Oh, right, there's honor. Wait, did I put that in there? Let me just check the macro that I made. Apparently, it's not reading it properly in some respects, but... Okay, I did take honor into account.
Sweet. It had fear 3, so the team was 20. So you stare this thing down as it kind of comes out of a tree towards you, one hand outstretched. Oh, that I really like the name of that macro.
Yeah, that did not work properly. I fixed it.
Good, good. So, how's Matsuhide react to this?
Probably jumping back.
Solid reaction. You jump back and you feel yourself slam against another tree. And as you collide in with this tree, you hear another tortured moan coming out of it. And as you look behind you, there's another arm outstretched towards you. Make an investigation for me. Ooh, very nice. You notice that these Gaki seem to be female, or once were. Through whatever shadowy misty nature you can divine from them. They seem to have female forms.
I think I'd be rushing back to the castle now. I have some concerns.
Excellent, excellent. You're rushing back, and as you are, of course, there's more hands coming out of these trees, making swipes at you. But you're juking and you're jiving and such. Make an athletics roll for me. It's gonna be agility and not strength.
Oh, that's going to be significantly worse than normal then.
Just barely. Wait, are you not training athletics?
That's oh yeah. Apparently I'm not. So that should actually be a 12. I thought I was trained. Apparently not.
Well, I guess you are a courtier.
I thought I spent 1 point on a rank though, but I guess not.
Well, now you know to
So that's a 12.
buy today. Get yourself a rank in athletics and a rank in lower Gaki. You must not be the type of courtier who participates in that soccer game that they have going on. That one.
Kamari.
Kamari, yeah. You're running through this forest, and you kind of trip on some dirt. You notice there's a large hole right in front of you, and you kind of go to jump over that, but you slip on some of the wet mud, and you go sailing face first into this hole. Now I'm gonna roll for damage. Yay! Oh, sorry, I almost brutally murdered you, Justin. Hey!
Good thing I have nice reduction. That's only 2 points of damage.
There you go, with the explosion. A little bit more.
Oh right, there's an explosion. Right. I'm gonna avoid to soak that.
Okay.
Just because I might need to be healthy later.
So you're going to fall face first, and you kind of throw your hands over in front of you to shield yourself from the fall. And as you're falling, you feel a little bit of eternity filling you up. You hit the ground and you kind of bounce. And you land in the mud. And you go, that could have been bad. And now you find you're in a 10-foot deep hole. It's like 10 feet wide. And then, from the walls, you see them. Hands reaching out for you.
That's not ideal.
And it's, of course, the shadowy, sinewy hand of a Gaki, or what you're coming to think are the Gaki. But it's only on one wall that this is coming out of.
I'm gonna grab that jade around my neck and poke at one of the hands.
Yeah, there's a shrieking sound, and it kind of recoils back for a second.
I'm gonna keep poking the ones along that wall just to see what I can garner behind the hands.
Okie doke. You know, try to, just to get it right, you're trying to ward the hands off so you can see if there's anything behind it, right?
Yep.
Alright, so you've got that in your hand and you're kind of digging away at the wall as you're fencing off these hands. And you scrape enough away, and then as you clear off a final section of mud, you see that there's a Matsuhide recognizes it from his time in the Boar clan. There seems to be some ritually prepared corpse. You just see a little bit of it, but you definitely recognize a human skeleton beneath that dirt.
Boy, that's unsettling.
And then, of course, as you reveal this, a bunch of hands go out from the wall and they get your forearm and they grab your hair and they start pulling on you, and they've got their hands all over your armor and they're starting to try to, what you feel like they're trying to pull you into the wall.
Oh, I'd obviously try to resist.
Oh, obviously, Ken. Want to make a contested strength roll?
Boy, that is not very good. Boy, that is really not good.
So, yeah, these Gaki all have you, and they're pulling you towards the wall, and, your face gets squished into this kind of muddy wall, and faces start to emerge from the wall, and, you feel the cold breath of a face right next to your ear. You can't really see anything because your face is face planted into a wall, and you hear like the cold, haggard voice of something long dead rasping, "Get out, get out." And then it's going to take a bite out of your neck.
Oh no.
That's 3k3.
Oh god. Oh my god. I'm gonna soak some of that.
Solid plan.
So that's 7 points of damage.
Those Phoenix were lucky they were only fighting statues and not the Gaki.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And with that bite taken out of your neck, they seem to release you for a moment. But hands are still coming out of the wall and going for you.
Well, I definitely backed the hell away.
And you keep backing up, and your back hits the wall, and you see more hands are starting to come out, and the claws of the Gaki kind of put themselves on the wall, and they start to push themselves out from it. You see the neck, then the shoulders, and the torso start to get slowly pulled out of the, like smoke billowing out of a hole. These Gaki form coming for you.
I would try and get out of the pit.
Sweet, sweet. Make me a climbing roll. This one can be strength.
Oh, good. That'll be a little bit better. But I'm still untrained, so. Oh, good.
Sweet. You are, clawing at that door. See, you're a noble man of Asian descent, so a little shorter than me as a human being. Anyway, don't know where I was going with that. You don't have the large advantage. There we go. Let's do it in game terms. You don't have the large advantage. This hole is a little bit less than twice your size. So you're jumping up. You've got that heavy armor on. You have a helmet which to other mortals weighs an infinite amount of weight. And you can't quite make it up. You make one final jump and you feel a hand latch around your own and start to help you tug up. Because you missed that roll, I'm going to do a little bit more damage to you. So you take a...
Okay, that's soaked by my armor.
There we go. So there's a swipe on you. But, your armor chinks it off. Oh, hey, they can just straight up soak your blood. Here I am, doing actual damage like a chump. And then a hand pulls you up and, pulls you out of that hole. And you're greeted with the gardener that you saw earlier. He has his wide rice hat on. He's got a cleft chin. Dark eyes, dark brooding eyes, right? He's got on simple attire, fitting of a Heenan of his station, covered in dirt, naturally. And he, lifts you out of the hole, and with some effort, because you're wearing heavy armor.
Boy, that must feel really horrible once I end up getting pulled out of the hole and obviously will lose my balance.
Yeah. After the adrenaline fades away, he's kind of holding his arm in pain. And you're probably having some hard time getting up since you just made that run. And out from the estate, which you are very close to now, because when you were running just before you fell in the hole, you could see the gardening area. You see Toritaka, Toyuya, and Miya Kukui running towards you guys, as well as a few guards. They're like, "What's going on here? What? We heard screaming. What's happening?"
Well, the Gaki don't just show up at night.
And Mia goes, "What do you mean? They're here in the day?"
I just met more than a few.
Where? Where are these Gaki? Toritaka gets in a defensive stance and has her spear ready.
Well, I might have found something pretty old. Back from the days in the Empire when people weren't cremated.
Oh, that's very old.
I've seen this before in the Twilight Mountains.
And Toritaka makes a note to really ask you about that story because it sounds interesting. Maya says, "Oh, I don't understand. My family's only lived on this island for fairly recently, before me, I'm sure. Yeah, no one's owned this island before us. How could there be people buried beneath it?"
There definitely is. I saw remains.
Well, please, if there are remains on here, it's my duty to burn them and prevent the threat of Maho or these Gaki, I suppose. Where are these remains?
Well, you see, there might be a bit of a problem with that. We're gonna need to take care of the Gaki before that.
Tori Takas, I see wisdom in that. If they're this great of a threat, Maho will have to come later. I can't believe I just said that.
Well, I don't know what you want to do here, Toritaka-san, but I can show you the way.
Oh, yes, please lead the way. Mia, I think it's best if you return to the castle where it's safe. Oh, yes, of course, I'll go immediately. She flitters away.
Please send my Budoka.
I'm right here.
Tell her to be armed.
I'm right here.
Oh, she's here.
Hi.
Okay. Come along, Budoka.
Yes, sir. Thank God. And the gardener heads out with you guys too. So where do you take him?
I'd probably take him to the pit. And I'd probably be telling the gardener to come explain what he was doing.
Okay, this is all
Out
happening,
here?
like, right outside the pit. Like, he pulled you out.
Okay.
You were, like, stumbling to your feet in your armor as they all came running out. Investigating.
I basically just... Okay, then I just point at my feet. Where I just got pulled out.
And, of course, as they all look down there, there's nothing. There's, no Gaki, no hands, no blood from your wounds. There's only, just a pit. And the gardener goes, I don't see anything.
What were you doing out here anyway?
And he huffs. And he goes, my job. And he points towards, not too far away from the pit, there's, some, like, saplings he's got wrapped up. He's like, I got thirsty while digging this hole to plant the trees in, so I went out into the forest for a walk to cool down. Then I heard this guy screaming his head off, and when I came in, he was like jumping like a lunatic to get up the side of the wall. My lord, respectfully.
I'm telling you what I saw.
And Toyo's
The hands of
oh, good.
the hands of women reaching out for me. But they weren't alive.
It was like some bizarre dream I've had before.
It's like it was like a geisha house, but wrong.
Toyo does point out, Toritaka-san, he does have a wound of some sort on his neck.
Yeah, one of them bit me.
Yeah, Toritaka looks and sees that there's is indeed several puncture wounds on your neck that look like teeth bit into you. But they're not bleeding. They're just there. Red and swollen. She goes, these
They
teeth
told
seem
me
to
to
be
get out.
characteristic of blood-eating Gaki. Most strange. Do you feel alright? She acts like a crab and puts her hand on your face and starts to check you up and down. She looks at your eyes to make sure you're doing alright. What's the name of your lord?
Yasuki. Oh, fuck. Yasuki. Damn it. What was his name again?
He's possessed by the Gaki. Kill him.
I don't remember the first name of him.
That's alright. You know, it's okay to forget the name of your lord. Nothing suspicious about that. We'll jot that down later, but you know, you give the name of it, and she's like, okay. So, I heard in the Twilight Mountains that there was a Phoenix. No, he wasn't there. What was it? Who was there? Oh yeah, okay, sorry. Hello, nice to meet you. I hear in the Twilight Mountains there was a Ronin Shugenja who fought a Maho Tsukai single-handedly and slayed it. Have you heard similar stories?
Sorry, I had the audio stutter for a bit.
As she's checking you out, she says, "You know, I heard there's a story of last fall there was a Ronin Shugenja who went into the Twilight Mountains and single-handedly defeated a Maho Tsukai who was terrorizing the mountains. Is this true? Have you heard a story like that?"
There was a Ronin there, but I was the one who put the Mahotsukai down.
All right, he's he's not possessed. She takes her hand away from you and nods, relieved. She says, "Oh, the last thing I need is for you to be possessed by them." And she strokes her non-beard and goes, I wonder if perhaps if they had a physical vessel, if they could enter the castle. I must research. Heenan, go ahead and excavate that ditch and see if there's any signs of a dead bodies down there.
I checked that wall.
Yes, sir. She grabs a shovel from the trees and everything and starts to climb down.
You, gardener, you're good at digging. Help her out.
I'll help her out, right? So starts to climb down there with her. Alright, so you got that going on. Toritaka's still seeing if there's any magic on the castle. What's next for Yasuki?
I think he's going to wander around the swamp some more.
Back where all
Like the island side. Yeah.
Okay, the uninhabited side?
Yeah, he's going back, as ill-advised as that is.
Sweet, man. Sweet. I love it. Okay. You,
First in his fear.
You head inside. He's got that tattooed on his shoulder or something. You head outside into the swamp as those two are excavating the wall. Naturally. You're wandering about the forest. How are you looking? What are you looking for? What's Yasuki up to?
I think he's going to do a grid pattern.
Ooh, very nice, very nice. You start to... Yeah, you find the footpaths of the gardener, and when he, ran to see what was going on. back at the estate. You follow that, and you pick up where he left, and you start doing your own grid pattern off of what he was doing. As you're kind of going through.
Do I notice? Sorry. Do I notice anything odd compared to his story as to where he seems to have been going?
No, he just said that he was out wandering through the forest, which, I mean, could be the case from what you've seen of the footsteps. He could just, like, have been going in that pattern so he wouldn't get lost in the forest or something. But it'd be weird, you think?
Yeah, it feels like he was looking for something.
Who it certainly does. As you're wandering through, you see a few more of those lizards. And when you get close to them, they kind of give you a... that was my... they give you a moaning type of sound as you get close to them that tells you to step off, Jack. And you look at them and go, I have 8 reduction. What you looking at? You throw a rock at them.
Yeah.
I just survived a Gaki attack. So,
With only minimal damage.
let me check the character sheet to see what the best roll for this. Hey, I can finally get rid of Onpo's character sheet.
Yeah, he's kind of very, very dead.
Alright, make a investigation roll for me. It's gonna be a T and a 15. Alright.
I do not succeed.
Yeah.
I am rolling a lot of under 5.
Make a commerce roll for me. There we go. Yeah, you look through the forest some more. You continue its grid search, but after a little bit, you don't really notice any. You can't discern what he was looking for. You can't really see anything strange. There's no more trees coming to life or anything either.
Well, back to the pit to see how they're doing.
Excellent. You guys head back into the pit, and they have indeed. They've summoned a third fellow who is the Edda on the island, and the Edda is arranging what looks to be a skeleton outside the pit. You notice down there's a big hole in the wall where they dug away. And Toyu says, "Yay, you were absolutely right. We found this just a few feet into the wall."
Too bad I'm not a forensics guy and I can't tell that this is probably a woman skeleton.
I know. Imagine all the trove of evidence that you could be investigating about this skeleton.
But I'm not a Kitsuki.
Mm-hmm. Corpse botherers. I'll let you make a just give me a regular investigation though. There's one kind of obvious thing that you might be able to notice. Hey, okay, those are some despite being buried in dirt, those bones are fairly new looking, you'd say.
That's a bit worrisome. And confirms my out-of-character suspicions.
Whatever could you mean? Don't tell me what you think. We're just gonna play it out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's your one thing you noticed. And the Edda goes, I don't know, would Edda even talk to you directly? I feel like you'd talk to Toyuya and she'd transfer it to you.
Probably, because Edda are dirty.
Yeah. You know, Toyuya-san, this, what should I do with the body? Should I prepare for burial or start the cremation process? Toyuya goes, alright, it wants to know what it should do with the body.
Tell it to wait for Toritaka to come.
Okay.
And Gardner, go Gardner, go get Toritaka.
Go fucking get Toritaka. He walks off. Irate.
I am not very nice to this Gardner, but well, he's Haven, and he's the only Haven here who isn't my Badoka, and thus someone who I kind of need around.
Toritaka comes running back, and she's like, alright, I just want everybody to know that as a non-Shugenja, it's a little hard to identify magical signs. So, that being said, what interruption do you bring to me now?
So, I was right. Kind of.
Ah, there's indeed a body buried down here. Oh, and those bones. Do you notice?
They don't look so old.
They don't.
They don't look nearly as old as the ones I found in the Twilight Mountains. Now, I don't know what ones normally look like, but they didn't look that old.
Indeed, they look like they could only be a few months, if that. Around the time when the Gaki started showing up. And she turns her attention towards the gardener and asks why it was that he was digging a hole down there. And he goes, oh, I was making a hole so I could plant the trees, the saplings down there. And she goes, what are you planting in there? Elephants? That hole's huge for such little trees. And he's like, listen, I'm doing my job. If you have any more complaints about me, take it up with my mistress, because just because you
I'm
don't
sorry, are
gardening,
you telling a samurai that we don't know what we're talking about?
No, of course not. I would never make such an accusation. It's just, you don't.
I also noticed that you went much, much deeper in than you needed to for those saplings.
Die. It's a very relaxing forest. I like spending time in there,
Relaxing and full of Gaki?
Oh, you said there are Gaki in there. None of us have seen any. Certainly not me. Of course, your word is law. I'm just saying that the Gaki have never bothered me.
Yet you know they come from here.
Oh, everybody on the island knows that. They, at nighttime is what I mean. They've never bothered me during the day.
Now, I can't say that I interact with a lot of Heenan, and most of the ones are hardened crab Heenan, who are used to this sort of thing. I have no doubt that some inlander who doesn't know the horrors of the Shadowlands would be okay with this.
What's this referring to?
Just the fact that you're wandering around in a forest that's haunted.
Oh, yeah,
You
for
lot
sure.
are superstitious.
Cowardly and superstitious lot, the human.
Yes, yes. Don't you find this odd, Toritaka-san?
I have to admit, I do. I feel like one of such lowly station would not have the courage to risk their lives unless they were up to something in the forest. And the human just kind of crosses his arms. He says, "Again, I will not say anything further until my lady is present." His jaw is jutted out. Oh my god. Alright, give me a moment. Alright, give me that intimidation and then I'll see how he responds.
Unless you want to meet a similar fate to whatever poor individual ended up in that hole, you'd best answer some questions.
And he goes, oh, oh. He like starts to back away from you. And naturally he trips over the bones and falls backward into the hole.
Oh look, you've made the job easier.
Oh my god, that was very good, very good. Yeah, he falls back into the hole and he's like, ah. He's like, you can't treat me like this. I'm the one that helped you out of this hole. Get me out of here.
By the way, that did in fact just barely drop me back down to honor 2.
Hey, now you just have to ignore somebody and you're back up there.
Yeah.
He like throws his hands up in the air. He's like, all right, I was looking for the treasure. Are you happy?
I kind of wondered about that. Now, I have to wonder, was this your own plan?
He goes, yeah, who else would I be working with? I took the job here as a gardener because I heard there was treasure buried on this island. And so I've been, using my opportunity to dig around the island looking for the treasure.
Truly a greedy man. Hypocrite, hypocrite, hypocrite. To, not inform your lord of its presence.
And you're like, if you give me the location of where you think it is, I won't mention it. And he goes, yeah, I'm a terrible person.
Yep.
I know. Very greedy. Get me out of here, I'm serious. It's gonna be dark
One
in a little
last
bit.
question.
Yeah.
While you were out there, did you see anything else unusual?
Yeah. I saw footprints out in the forest that weren't my own. They were big and webbed.
Webbed.
Webbed feet. Like a frog. Big fry.
Interesting.
Get me out. It's almost dark outside.
Sudoku, would you help him out?
Yes, sir.
Do mind his hands, and mind his body parts that might have touched that unclean corpse.
Oh, most unclean of him, sir. She gets her Yari and gives him the blunt end of it and uses it to pull him up. He's all muddy.
You'd best get cleaned up.
Get cleaned up. Heads out. Alright, sir, you have... Toritaka goes, do you think he's telling the truth?
I think he was a little bit terrified. I think he had incentive.
Indeed, that was you'd make a... Let's see, you wouldn't make a half-good Soshi.
Well, I'm more looking to be a taskmaster, but...
Ah, indeed, well, I'd say you're halfway there.
Indeed.
She says, I'll continue searching for any magic. Do you mind if... I think perhaps we should assign your Heman into keeping an eye on the gardener.
Yes. Do inform us if he decides to try going out to the swamp again, or does anything else interesting.
Yes, sir. I will be like his shadow. She heads off.
If anything else interesting of note comes up, also let me know.
Yes, sir.
Or Toritaka.
My information is your information. Naturally.
Of course.
Though with this
Very well, you're
I feel,
dismissed.
The mystery has intensified.
It has.
But all we need is a single witness and the crime will be solved. Because we will have testimony, the most valuable of all proof. And she heads off.
Now, who do I want to talk to next? No, despite the fact it's probably a red herring, let's go talk to Mr. Guard Chief, Mr. Albino.
Okie dokie. He's fixing up the shutters, locking everything up, getting ready for the Gaki. Night will befall Onotengu, Scar Island, in just a little bit. So he's making sure all his guards are back in. Meals are being sent out to the ferryman and everything. And the island's starting to shut down for the night.
Remind me, is Ryu a Mia or something else?
He's a Mia, yes.
He is a Mia? Okay, just wanted to confirm. Mia-san.
Hi.
I have a sensitive question for you.
Yes.
I cannot help but notice that, like me, you have some less usual characteristics.
Indeed I do. I am lucky enough to serve a lady who sees past such arbitrary signs.
As am I. As am I. I likewise share a lord who is willing to overlook the oddness of my appearance. Tell me, do you have any other interesting features?
He his arms go from resting at his side to being crossed.
To being what?
Crossed? His arms grow crossed.
Ah, yes. I can't help but wonder.
No, I'm afraid, I drink tea regularly. So I'm afraid I can't, fully amuse your crab proclivities.
Ah, I see. I couldn't help but ask. It's call it crab curiosity.
Yes. Well, I will let it slide this once. But know that you're not in Crabland, and it's a most distasteful subject to bring up.
I see. I offer my humblest apologies.
Yes. From the bottom of my heart, I forgive you. Now I'd suggest you start to make your way inside. The Jade Sun has little time left in the day, and soon the Gaki will return to the island.
Indeed. I do look forward to seeing how the Imperials defend a position.
Nice. Very well. And the island closes down for the day. The ferryman hides himself in his shack. And everybody heads inside. Mia waylays you a little bit in the foyer. You see some work has been done on a kimono. If you were a crane, I'd say make some sort of fashion roll to notice anything about it, but alas. Let me check if there's any.
I am but a crab.
But a crab. Yeah, it'd probably be a craft roll. Okay. Toritaka waylays you for a bit. Kaiketsu Toritaka. She says, I checked the entire perimeter of the castle and I've found no sign of any magic, benevolent or otherwise.
So what is stopping the Gaki?
I don't know. Perhaps a thorough observation of their habits tonight will glean a good amount of insight.
Indeed, that's about the best we can hope for.
Indeed. Let me check the Toritaka school ability real quick. I want to know if she can make low-key exorcisms or not.
I think the Exorcist is a Shugenja path, but they do have some anti-spirit abilities.
Let's see, crab.
I actually think it's in the minor clan section under the Falcon clan for their school.
Oh, interesting. The website I use has become corrupted and it's starting to send me to a website I don't want to go to. And that annoys
That's
me.
problematic.
Oh,
What's that?
It's called The Last Haiku. It's got all.
I thought it might be that one.
Yeah. It's a good one. Let's see. Falcon Clan. Tori Takabushi. See Crab Clan schools. Tori Takabushi. Alright. Uh-huh. Right. Very good. Simple deck. Mm-hmm. Ah, interesting. She must have really high lore skills then. She has no outright ability to do it.
Indeed. It's more for fighting them, if I remember right.
Yeah. Yeah, well, she's here to do that too. She's got knowledge, whatever. She's here to kick butt. So, I ask you, Isuki-san, do you suspect the murder of whoever that skeleton belonged to is connected with the sudden appearance of the Gaki?
That does seem like the logical conclusion.
Very good. Then, perhaps us looking into the matter will be a proper use of time.
Truly, it is a heinous thing to not only bring someone to death, but not give them a proper burial.
Indeed, is the all a warrior can truly hope for is a good death and the cremation they deserve afterwards. And anyone denied that right, I'd come back and haunt that island if I were them. And
I do have to wonder
yes.
who it could be.
The ferryman, the gardener, the guard, or the mistress.
I meant more in terms of who the victim is.
Oh! Yes, me too.
No one seems to have mentioned anyone going missing.
Yes, well, if I'm being honest, there's not much these people seem to be mentioning to us.
Yes, it's very opaque.
Yeah. And in my mind, not being forthright with information means that there's information they wish to keep hidden. But we shall see. And a servant comes up to you guys and dinner is being served in the dining hall if you are all. Well, it's
A moment of
if you
your
want it.
time, servant.
Sorry?
A moment of your time, servant.
Yes, sir, of course.
The people who have been here since Mia-san took up residence, has anyone left?
Oh, Mia-san has been here for her whole life. She grew up here. My father was the cook for her father. as I am the cook for
I
her
see,
now.
I see. Well, I suppose it's time to eat.
Yes, sir. I hope you enjoy what I've prepared. And you guys enter. The guard introduces Toritaka Kaiketsu, honored member of the Kuni Witch Hunters. And she takes a bow and she sits at the honored guest seat, which is, of course, the farthest away from the door. Which has the best temperature and the least chance of being attacked by assailants. And then you are introduced, and you are sat down, and then the dinner starts. Toyu is eating in her bedroom. And it's you.
Poor little Haman.
Yep. It's you, Ryu, and, a few guards. There's about 8 guards in total on the island, so it's 4 of them, and the other 4 are doing the patrols on the inside of the castle. Out before you is, of course, gumbo, biscuits, some greens, a delicious assortment, lots of, they look like they are cousins to shrimp, and they call them, it's funny, they call them crayfish, but they don't look like fish at all.
Indeed, indeed.
And Toritaka kind of fiddles around with some of these crawfish a few times before she gives up and just enjoys the gumbo. That's a whole lot of work for not a lot of meat. And Mia Kukui responds that they have more time in this part of Rokugan to sit down and eat than perhaps the crab do. But then she says, but if you guys have ever eaten a crab, I'm sure you understand that that takes a lot of work too. She gives you guys a smile.
Probably why we fry things up.
Yeah, man. And then she kind of furrows her eyebrows and says, do you eat crab? Or is that a sacred animal to you?
I've never seen it, personally.
Oh, really? Interesting. I've
Well,
had the
coming
pleasure of
from
dining on a few crabs myself.
coming from Clearwater, there's ample fish.
Hmm. Oh, and Toritaka says, oh, speaking of your past, not Toritaka, Yasuki, I was promised a story of the Boar clan, or the Boar lands, so regale us all with a bit of your story if you would.
There were very strange things there. Statues, stone statues shaped exactly like a man, and strange alcoves, buildings that were lined wall to wall with stone boxes, and each contained the remains of, I'd assume, a boar.
And everybody shakes their head in disbelief, and someone goes, oh, savages. They didn't cremate their dead?
From what I understand, when I talked to the Cooney afterwards, that's a more recent development. Many, many centuries ago, that was not a thing. I don't know why it changed, but It seems strange that it was different in the past.
And everybody goes, "Huh, the more you know." And, a great conversation is started by that. And you're like, man, isn't that crazy that something we take as a, concrete fact of life didn't exist hundreds of years ago? Oh, boy. Anyone you want to strike a conversation up with, sir?
Miyasama, I'm curious what you and Manoka were up to before I selfishly took her back to do her job.
I was outfitting her for a kimono. It's absolutely shameful, those rags you parade her around in. She may be a mere heathen, but, surely even she would appreciate a nice set of clothing. I mean, if nothing else,
Well,
she's some sort of, if you're going to be parading her around, her costume surely reflects on your own nature. The unicorn keeps their horse well dressed and groomed.
debating how crab to be. No, that's just too impolite, even for a crab. Never mind. Okay, I'll respond with not my first choice. Well, considering she's likely going to be fighting, I don't imagine something nice will last all that well.
And she says, I suppose, but, I still enjoy giving gifts to those who do me favors. Besides, she has an excellent skin tone.
What favor did,
Well, she's assisting you,
Okay, that out of character makes me know that I'm absolutely right. Absolutely right. But I, of course, don't know that in character at all.
Of course not, of course not. She's assisting you in your investigation, is she not? I hope you don't think that you're getting out of this situation without a new kimono of your own.
I will have to humbly accept any gift that you decide to give me in reward.
After two times.
After two times.
Well, good. After dinner, how do you feel about a fitting?
Obviously, I have very little else to do when I can't go outside.
Delicious, she says. She continues to eat the gumbo.
Nom nom nom.
Nom 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 nom. It's very good. She has a very good chef. It's even better than the chef at the 100 Stances Dojo.
Well then, he was impressive. I had to do so much work to eat his meal like once.
No, you had to do all that work to get a free raise on your duel with Matsu.
Which I probably wouldn't have won without that.
There you go. Yes, and of course, about the time everybody finishes their meal, the rattling is heard as you know, lamps and screens start to kind of shake every once in a while, randomly. It sounds like there might be pounding on the walls. Tori talks
I can't
about,
imagine it's easy to sleep in these circumstances.
oh, my fortunes, no. It's nearly unlivable, I tell you. They bang like this from sunset to sunrise, and I get hardly a wink of sleep in between. Toritaka takes a napkin, dabs her mouth daintily, puts it away, and she says, well, I will begin observations, if I can. And Mia says, how are you going to investigate? You're not going to go out there, are you? And Mia says, oh no, I'll just find a vantage point to see if I can spot anything. And it's like, oh, you're not going to open a window or something, right? If there's any opening, they'll flood through them. And Toritaka raises a hand and says, please, I'm a professional. Heads off.
These things are fairly common in crablands.
Ah, you lot do seem awfully calm about it.
Well, I mean, with the Shadowlands right there. Gasp, gasp, gasp.
She ignores you when you say that. She gains some honor. She dabs herself and says, please help yourself to anything left on the table. I must excuse myself for the moment. I am, bye! Ryu makes sure our honored guest has everything he could need. And she exits the, she excuses herself to the little lord's room and exits the dining room. Heads into the kitchen. Disappears. So, fight any Oni?
No, I've not had to fight one yet. But I haven't been on the wall.
Oh, okay.
I hope to be at some point.
Yeah. So, fight any Gaki before?
Nope. Just my Hosu guy.
Cool.
As always.
Cool. Join those biscuits?
They're very strange. I've not had food like this before.
Yeah, a lot of grains. Not much rice. Kind of
No, it's very different.
No, I like it. I've served here a while, so I've gotten used to it. He just sits there awkwardly waiting, watching you eat.
Probably would stuff what remains of the stuff he's dished up, all of it in his face. doesn't chew with his mouth open, but has way too much in his mouth.
Yeah, he politely ignores that and gains some honor. Now, let me see if I can find the rules for what I'm looking for. Momentary pause. Well, I'm glad we decided to go through with this. I'm enjoying myself.
Indeed.
Where the heck are you? Time to go to the index. The question is it a C or an S? Holy crap, I can't believe I'm having this hard of a time finding it. There we go. That's why I was looking at the wrong thing. Okay, so the roll that you are going to make for me is going to be at a TN of 20. And I'll see if I can find the stats for it, because I can't right now. It's not in the quick reference either. What a dump. I'm going to have to edit this whole section out just so people don't have to listen to me and off for 20 minutes. Alright, make an earth roll for me. TN of 20.
This is not going to go well, because I only have Earth 2, because my stamina is still 2.
The Earth Dragon chose poorly.
Wait. Speaking of the Earth Dragon, what was the extra bonus on rolls with that? The helmet.
I believe it's a 1k1 to willpower.
I haven't been taking that willpower into account when I've been
Intimidating people?
Yeah.
Come on, Ken. I'll look it up real quick though, just to make sure. Because it makes sense. Alright, Helm of the Earth Dragon. Dang it, I had it and then I clicked the wrong button. Down. Yep, 1k went to all rolls involving stamina and 3 reduction. So.
Oh, it's stamina, not willpower.
walking.
Yeah, that's right.
Holy crap, I made it.
Hey, alright.
Thank God for explosions.
You feel great. That was good gumbo. And, we're gonna say Rio makes the same roll, but he fails his, and he starts to feel a little woozy and asks if he's going to excuse himself too.
Oh.
He says, "You're the last man standing, it looks like." The chef made this one a little spicier than usual, I guess, and he runs off.
Alrighty.
And there's, of course, nameless Mia guard. 1, 2, 3 left.
So, I have to wonder. Anyone gone missing lately?
Anyone in particular you have in mind? Like,
Even
one of the guards? One of the Heenan?
guards, Heenan, hell, even Ada.
And he,
If you even pay attention to those.
he kind of strokes his goatee. He goes, a few people from the village go missing every once in a while. I think 2 weeks back, some fisherman's daughter went missing. But nobody on the island goes missing. I know there's only a few of us here, but we do keep pretty tight security, especially with the Gaki attacks. We make sure we have, tight monitoring on everybody that goes in and out of the island. It'd be very shameful if a samurai went missing on our island.
That's why I asked, is I figured you guys were paying attention. Thus, you'd be the people to ask.
Thank you. Why do you ask? Do you suspect someone's gone missing?
Well, did you hear of our discovery earlier?
We heard that you found Gaki out in the forest even during the day?
Well, there was more than just that.
Oh, please, enlighten us.
We found the remains of someone who had passed. Please bear in mind precisely how I worded that.
Spill it out for me, Ken. We found the remains of somebody who's...
We found bones.
Gotcha.
We found bones.
Okay, I feel you. I hear you. And when you say that, one of them kind of throws up on the table. And he looks shocked with himself. He's like, "Oh my god." He excuses himself. It wasn't the guy you're talking to, but one of the guards.
Ignore.
All right, get your 2 points back.
Hey, I'm back up to 3.
And a Heenan comes in and starts to clean up. And
Thus, you see why I was curious.
Yeah, no doubt. Bones on the island. I can't imagine.
Weren't old. These weren't old, Alden.
They were recent?
I've seen old. They're recent.
He's like, got his hand on his chin. He's like, I can't imagine who would... Has anybody even been on our island that's gone missing? And he looks genuinely at a loss, and he's like, "What do you think? If there's been someone murdering people on the island and we haven't even noticed?" And he says, "I don't want to
Well,
sound...
they had to have come from somewhere.
I don't want to sound superstitious, Yusuke-san, but do you think maybe ninjas could have had something to do with it?"
Ninjas are superstition. Nothing,
Ninjas, and they all razz him a bit about that.
nothing's more skilled than a Hirama scout out in the Shadowlands.
Ninjas are just superstition. Now on to those ghosts that are attacking your castle. I mean, basically.
Those are real. We know those exist. We've seen those.
Who could possibly throw a flimsy sheet of metal at somebody and kill them? That's highly unlikely. Climb straight up walls.
You know, I still need to make one that is the thing they do. Because there is a way that I could build things that makes it truly lethal. Something like 3K3.
I read something one time where it was basically you had to faint and just stack that faint bonus really high. But I can't remember. I'll link you the article one day.
Indeed.
What next, boy? What next?
I'm actually unsure what next, partly because of the fact that while I know out of character what the hell is going on here, I haven't got an in-character reason to pursue what I think is going on here.
Pursue that line of questioning you.
Yeah, and I haven't really got anything for... he has no knowledge of what I know it is. I'm out of character. I know exactly what's going on here. But in character, my character knows nothing of that sort. So I guess I'm going to that kimono fitting.
Sweet. You head into the foyer, and after a little bit of time, Mia Kyuki, how I've been pronouncing it. Side note, isn't Kyuki. I've been saying it some really weird way. Damn it. It's really cool too. Anyway, she comes out of the kitchen and damn it. Well, I'm saying it. Anyway, Mia comes out. So mad at myself. And she greets you and she's like, "Alright." Claps her hands together. "Let's get you fitted." And she snaps her fingers and a Heenan comes in and starts to take your measurements. You finally shrug off your heavy armor. You probably took it off before dinner.
Probably. And have my Vidoka guarded.
Excellent. As she's eating food, she'll guard your armor. Now, she starts to go through the process. She picks out some fabrics. She takes note of your skin tone, matches a blue that will be the perfect match with it, and starts to go.
Oh, perfect blue, nice scrap color.
Mm-hmm. She knows what's up. And so she's, so there's really, no skilled seamstresses in Crabland?
It's a lower priority.
Oh, I guess so. Well, it's a shame all those brawny men and women. I'm sure were the fortunes more favorable towards them, they would look excellent in high fashion. As you soon will, Yasuki. She continues to.
Indeed, indeed.
Do, 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 do. She starts singing Mulan. And trying to think how to help you progress. Because we both know what's up, but it's getting your character.
Yeah,
there.
I know what's up, but my character really has nothing to go on.
So after a short bit of sewing, the two of you talk a little bit, and then she's like, "All right, I've gotten what I need out of you. If you wish to continue, make yourself at home, basically. Me castle, Sue castle." She releases you. So you exit the foyer, basically. And when there's no one around, you're suddenly confronted with the gardener. Dun, dun, dun. And he has one hand buried deep into a sleeve of his outfit. Reaction.
What you got there?
Damn it. Damn you, Ken. He digs in and he reveals an orb of jade, and he says, "Master Yasuki, I'd wish to speak with you privately in my chambers."
I don't see any reason why not.
So you guys head on up there. And you head upstairs and you head towards the servants' quarters, and he looks over his shoulder to make sure. Nobody's looking or following, and you guys are ushered inside. And he's got a nice room for a servant's quarter. He can walk around. Very nice. And
Truly the life of luxury for a heathen.
truly, he takes that jade orb and spins it on his finger. And he says, "My name is Okoto Taka. I'm an Emerald Magistrate
Oh no.
serving the Emerald Champion Shoshiro Jimin. I was sent here several months ago to investigate the long series of disappearances that have been happening on this island, or in these swamps. And
You must forgive me, but do you have anything to substantiate that?
he's got a jade orb, which is the badge of office.
Oh,
for
right.
the magistrate.
Right. I forgot about that.
So I assume you don't say that.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm
Yeah, it's right.
complete brain fart on that.
I understand. It's like when you're up in the Twilight Mountains, and I was like, and these catacombs are full of dead bodies, and you guys are like, huh? Nothing strange here. And I was like, and you guys might remember that that's really weird. So, I understand.
Yeah. I've had minimal contact with dead bodies that weren't already, not dead again.
That's true. Yeah, where did the zombies in the Shadowlands even come from? Like, who was living there before? Anyway, doesn't matter. Does anything make sense in Rokugan? Who knows? Yep. Koto Taka, writing that down so I don't forget. I've been investigating to a series of disappearances, and I believe I've come to the conclusion that the mistress of the castle is somehow behind these disappearances.
Interesting.
And your find earlier today confirms this for me.
I do apologize for my rough treatment of you. I was not aware who you were.
He waves his hand and says, "We will not speak of it." The investigation, or I was able to, as the Edo was setting out the bones, to do a cursory investigation of it, and the skeleton found seems to match the gender and approximate age of Mia, Lady Mia.
You know, that makes me wonder something. A story I've heard in Crablands of one particular type of creature from the Shadowlands.
Enlighten me, sir. I am a man of the law and no jade magistrate.
Now, bear with me, this might offend your non-crab sensibilities. But there's this type of old woman that comes in from the Shadowlands. Likes to murder women, and, takes their skin. Wears it like you or I would wear a suit of armor.
My God, have I been...
Or a scorpion might wear a mask.
Have I been sleeping with such a creature? Let me rephrase that. Have I been sleeping in the same castle with such a creature for so many months?
It has been well known that these beings are very hard to detect. Usually it takes a Kuni. They're the only ones with the expertise. Only Crab can manage to find them normally. So it's perfectly understandable that your skills were inadequate.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, my God, we have to do something to put this creature down.
Now, I might need to talk to Toritaka-san about this, because I don't know more than just stories about these creatures. Perhaps being more from the specific field that deals with that sort of thing, Toritaka-san might know a little bit more. But if it is truly from the Shadowlands, then I suspect Jade would make things very clear.
Very well. I will venture to sneak out of the castle and retrieve my daisho, which I've kept hidden on the island.
Do be careful, considering what's out there.
Hi. I will meet you in the kitchen when I return.
Off to Toritaka.
Off to the outside. And you see you do a little searching. Toritaka's sitting in the study, and she's laid back on a chase lounge, and there's one screen, like window, whatever, that's been opened up, and it's got kind of a circle of jade stones kind of fastened onto it, and each of the jades, she's basically like made some sort of dream catcher, but with like the jade as the setting. And she's sat back in a chase lounge watching the window with a bemused smile on her face. And she goes, "Ah, Matsuhide, observe. This
I'd step
window
forward and take a look.
is opened, and though I have this contraption set up to capture or destroy any Gaki which enters, they cannot possibly know this, and yet they do not flood through the window, as we were told that they would."
I may have something to shed light on that subject.
Please.
This will come as a surprise to you, as it did to me, but there are more samurai here than one would think.
How so?
You recall the gardener?
Yes, of course.
He is actually of the Akoto family and an emerald magistrate. Emerald or jade magistrate?
Emerald.
Emerald. Emerald magistrate.
They didn't think it was a supernatural problem when they sent him out.
Okay.
An emerald. She goes, "My God, masquerading as a Heenan? What a brave
Truly, I
man."
would not have expected that of the lion.
Quite so. Oh, they call him come in all colors.
Anyway, he has spoken with me about why he is here, and it has hearkened me to the stories that we used to hear around the fire at night. You know of the bog hags?
And she spits on she spits on the ground. She says, "Oh, of course. There's a more vile monster in all the Shadowlands. I'm not privy to it."
How much do you know of them? I only know the stories.
And as you say this, she kind of she's tapping her chin. A goodly amount, I think. Enough to begin to put together what I believe you're suggesting.
Akoto-san says that the age and the characteristics of the unfortunate soul we found earlier are mysteriously similar to Our Lady Mia.
She nods her head interestedly. She goes, "Oh, I was..." She smiles at you and goes, "And here I thought she was going to turn out to be a mundane Mahosukai."
Oh,
She,
so you suspected her of unpleasantness.
yes, when I discovered that these Gaki are apparently not as vile as she initially suggested, I begin to suspect treachery. She grabs her spears and stands up. She goes, "But, I was absolutely not suspecting this." Though I feel
I
like
do I do have somewhat of a plan.
Please and be quick about it. We must make sure our betrayal comes more swift than her own.
Akoto-san is returning with his blades. Now, my my plan is to raise an alarm, saying that the perimeter has been breached by the Gaki. I have some excess jade. Clearly I should throw some to Our Lady Mia. For her protection, you understand.
Oh, of course, of course.
Of course, when we barge in there, informing her of the breach, we of course must be prepared to defend her.
As any good guest would in the house of their host.
Indeed, I shall center myself while we wait for Akoto's return.
Excellent. I will remove this ward from the window. It would not do well for my reputation if one Agaki was simply able to pass through a ward I created.
Indeed.
And she starts to undo the jade and the wiring that she'd set up. And from upstairs, you hear the shrill scream of a woman. And then,
Well,
furthermore, you hear the sound of a window being broken, and then something thumping to the ground.
clearly I need to run upstairs now.
Clearly. You runneth upstairs. And you see some of the Mia guards are also running upstairs. And when you get there, you see that your room, which your loyal Heenan bodyguard was protecting your armor over, there's a big hole in the wall. The whole room is in disarray, as if there is a struggle. There's a Yari on the ground, and there's no Heenan in the room at the moment.
Well, I had best suit up.
Yeah, you go. Heenan, I need 8 of you. I've only got half an hour to suit up. Yeah, you can start to suit up. I'm gonna make some sort of ask for some sort of roll though, to see if you can do it in a timely fashion. It's gonna take quite a while to put all that crab on. Let's see.
I need my shell.
I hear you, man. Let's see. I do a defense roll because I think that sounds. Unless you have a
Defense reflexes?
Yeah. Unless you have another. Hey!
I am trained in that.
You know, what was I thinking? You're a goddamn crab. As if you weren't ready at any moment to throw armor on and go to war with the Shadowlands beast. So, I don't know what I was thinking there. But you throw that armor on. From outside you hear more of a commotion, a bit of a battle going on. When you finally get all that armor on, you can see that Akoto Tako is engaged with the beast, and you catch the tail end of it. This is all in shadows and darkness, so you can't see the beast's true form. You just see
Yep.
him struggling with a woman, and then her bring her hand across his stomach. He kind of buckles over for a second and takes a knee as the beast runs out with a hinin thrown over its shoulder. And Toritaka quickly makes her way outside and goes to Akoto, who's starting to stand up and regain his composure. Ken,
Looks like
let's do this.
we do not have the luxury of time.
And she sighs and goes, "It was a good plan." And she goes,
Rushing after.
"Yeah, we must have spooked her. Let's go." So she runs off into the towards where the ferryman is lived, so towards the docks and towards the water. She's she's making that run. Do an athletics roll for me. Of which we know you are well trained. Hey, there you go.
Despite my untrained status, my pure strength is enough to do that.
Now, is the penalty for heavy armor only for agility rolls?
Oh, that's a good point. Let me look here.
I remember that this game has rules every once in a while.
Yes. Anything using agility or reflexes.
Okay, so you managed to huff your way in there. Ooh, so even weapon rolls take that penalty?
I don't know.
I never even thought about that. I'll have to do some research on that next time. But for now, we'll say nah. Yeah.
If that is the case, that really is an oversight that they did not include a plus minus and just flat value for weapon rolls.
You huff your way down there with your Caillou blade. You're excited you finally get to use it. Never mind, you used it to fight off the mantis last time.
Yep.
And to kill a Mahusu.
I chopped him pretty good.
You ignored all that light armor reduction. Yes, you charge towards the dock along with the Akoto, lightly wounded, and the Toritaka, not wounded at all. And there, in the light of the Obsidian Moon, is that what it is?
Yes.
Yes. There you see the creature, wearing the skin of she who was once Mia Kukui. That sounds right. But now that she's all monstrous, it's obviously no longer her. Her beautiful sun-kissed skin is shredded, and in the places where it's not still clinging to the body, you see a sickly, green-looking toad, salamander, slimy monster beneath it. Fixing you with unkind eyes and a large mouth filled with razor teeth, and it has very nasty claws sticking out of the tops of its fingers. And it's kind of growling at you, much like the lizards did to you earlier. It's warning you to stay away, or it's gonna make you regret stuff.
I would like my Badoka back.
And it hisses at you and goes, I'm afraid I can't do that. um, Look at this girl. She's absolutely perfect. I can tell just from the first glance at her that this is the skin I was meant to live in forever. And I will live in it forever. And she tosses Toyuya into the water and starts to back up to do the same with herself.
Laid out.
Do it. Let's roll for initiative, boy. Oh, and roll a 1d10 to see how much he healed between the Gaki attack. Because I'm sure somebody...
With or without explosion?
Let it explode. Hey.
Okay, I'm down 1 point.
Hey!
Oh.
She's going first.
Yep.
Now I'll roll for these other schmucks.
I need to declare attack stance.
Hey, luckily I do have a lion character sheet right here.
Why, isn't that handy? You have a lion character for some reason.
Boop. No Toritaka, unfortunately, so she's gets the envious role of generic thug. There we go. Everybody goes before Kin in his heavy armor. I just want to say I'm so proud of generic thug for finally hitting insight rank 3.
Oh dear God, that means that Toritaka has simple attacks, doesn't it? Toritaka's one of the ones that has IR3 simple attacks? Okay, yeah.
So it's Toritaka, Akodo, Bog Witch, and then Kenneth. Sweet, sweet. Toritaka makes no... whatever. She's gonna attack. She wastes no time. She goes in to deliver 2 unkind attacks. She misses one, but the second one hits home. And does some damage. Very good. Off to a great start. 2 explosions. That's pretty gnarly. So the beast is injured, and Akodo goes in for his attack, drawing out his blade. He's a little bit hurt, so it's not gonna be too great, but we'll see. Jesus, there we go. Hey, not too bad.
Is that a hit with his wound penalties?
Oh, you're right. Thank you, Ken. No, it's not.
Okay. I just figured I'd ask.
You stopped this from being a very quick match. For her turn, after getting sliced with the Toritakas, well, I guess it should have been a spear. Whatever, we'll do it next time. With the jade tip of Toritaka's jade spear, she throws herself into the water, kerplunk, Now it's Ken's turn.
Slicey, slicey.
Okie doke. I'm gonna give her a slight team bonus because you're gonna have to
Yep.
do an awkward
I'm gonna
position for
avoid.
that.
Yep, I'm gonna void point. That's my last void point.
Alright. With that bonus for being in the water, you did not manage to get at her.
Oh. Even with the void point. Okay.
Even with that void point. Toritaka. Let's see. Everybody has Jade. You have Jade. The magistrate has Jade. Excellent. So nobody needs any of that. She's, for her turn, with the beast in the water, she throws you a silk satchel and one to Akoto as well. And you snatch out the air and give it a squeeze, and it's granular. And you open it up, and it's, jade dust. Finally.
Oh, goody.
Then Akoto's going to...
Oh, let me look up the rules for that to see how quick it is to apply.
And Akoto goes, push on. He makes a slice at the beast. Whoa. He does whoa. And then that gets turned into... She takes a little bit of damage from that too. But his sword was obviously having a hard time cutting through the hide. An easy time cutting through the skin, but a very hard time cutting through the hide.
Where the hell is the rule on jade dust? I'm not seeing it in items. Okay, I have no idea where jade dust is and how long it takes to apply.
I'll give you a turn.
Okay.
For a complex action.
I will apply my jade dust.
Okay. She's gonna spend her turn. She takes those horrible claws, and she's gonna, break off the supports for the dock, basically. Because, yeah, she can do a simple attack. She can! Awesome. Yep, so she takes one claw and knocks one of the legs over, and it starts to tilt to one side, and then she takes the other. And so the part that you guys are on that's hanging over the ocean, or the lake, kind of splashes into the water. Woo! Very fun. Ken, and all that armor, why don't you go ahead and make me a strength-based athletic roll?
Okay.
I knew it. I was like, when it counts, Ken always pulls through. I mean, Yasuki Matsuhide is on his way to becoming a warrior of legend. We should not be surprised that he's treading water in this heavy armor. Sweet, sweet. Definitely use your turn to apply the jade dust, which brings us back up to Toritaka. Generic thug, generic skill. I'll give it to her. And then she's going to attack with the spear. She's going to hit with the spear. She's going to do damage with the spear. Very nice. Matsu goes to his turn. Sorry, Koda. I'm using a Matsu sheet. Alright. Athletics. Dude. You guys aren't even bothered by your weapons.
Whatever, it's just water. It's just swamp water.
Swamp water. Holy cow.
That's a hit.
That is indeed. He should have been calling raises this whole time. Damage. Oh my gosh. He's killing it. Alright, so she takes a little bit under 10 points of damage. Sweet. She is very badly wounded now. And now that you guys are in the water, she's going to do her gosh darn best to do damage to one of you. 5k3. Very cool. Alright. Our Toritaka with no armor on has a TN of 20. She's currently at a plus 15 for all her things. So that first one doesn't hit, the second one does hit. Her damage does 3k2. Ooh.
Oh my god.
And she has no reduction on.
Oh god.
So she's got to spend a void point to...
Soak.
Yeah, to soak that. So she becomes injured.
Pun intended.
Yeah. So she's probably going to start drowning her next turn. With that penalty. Now let me look up the poison for the bog hag. Alright, that won't hurt her now, but let's see what Destiny has in store for her. Oh, sweet. She's gonna... if she survives the night, she's going to contract a disease from the boghead.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god. It reduces the victim's stamina by 1 rank per week until death at 0 stamina.
Oh god.
It can be cured with magic. Good thing she's near Phoenix Land.
Yeah.
Might be
Can she get there in however many weeks she has stamina?
She has 3 stamina, so she might be safe. Who knows? That was fun. Your turn, Ken.
Full attack stance.
As best you can manage in neck high water. Do it.
I didn't have enough time to meditate, so I'm out of void points, so...
Yeah. I'm gonna make you do an athletics check for me again.
Okay.
It's gonna be a TN 15. Hey, there we go. Alright, roll damage. Alrighty, and you applied the jade on it, right?
Yep. and I also ignore, I think it's 3 points of reduction because of my Kaio Blade if it's non taint related reduction.
That's absolutely true. Now, if she has a taint rank, that's the same as having like a void point, right?
I believe so, equivalent, sort of.
Okay.
I don't think you can spend. Let me look here. I don't remember exactly. I haven't looked at taint much, to be honest. Because anytime I've had the thought, you know what would be cool playing a spider, it's been, you know what would be cool playing an untainted spider like a Susumu or a spider monk.
Yeah. I hear you.
Where are you, taint? I don't think you can spend taint like a void point.
Oh, it's just for like raises and such.
Yeah, for raises, for uh, mutations and stuff, and the weird you can use your taint to enhance rolls sort of thing.
That makes sense. Okay, she's going to take. Let's see, she doesn't get her invulnerability. She has reduction. So that's gonna bump her up to about 60 wins. So the blood or the water all around you is starting to fill up with a weird inky film as this animal's like putting off some pretty gnarly blood amounts now.
Thank God I got Jade.
Oh yeah. All right, Toritaka is going to make an athletics roll at -15. Wait. -10. She's only hurt. Hey, she actually manages to
Swim instead of sink.
yeah. However, she's going to start to make the swim back to shore. She thinks you guys have this handled.
And she's not exactly in good shape.
Yeah. She thinks she's going to be more of a hamper if you guys have to save her from drowning. Let's see. He goes in for the attack. He won't hit even if he does pass his athletics roll. So it's over to you. Wait, it's over to the bog witch, actually.
Yep.
And luckily, you've now attracted her ire as your sword is able to bite into her.
My current TN is 20.
Alright, so she has to make a 35 to even hurt you. Alright, unfortunately, neither of those were that. Alright, make me the athletics roll to stay swimming.
Oh no!
Yeah, so you aren't under the furious assault of her clawed hands, which you managed to like keep at bay with your armor. You can't quite get your arms into the attack position. You're using all your energy to stay afloat. Toritaka's making it back to land, throwing herself up on the land and get on her feet to see if she can get any use from there. He's gonna make an attack. Now I have to see if he makes his athletics roll. Hey! He's not a Jade Magistrate for nothing. Or a Emerald Magistrate for nothing.
Evidently not.
Right, that gets Coot in half. Alright, she takes a little bit of damage, but first this lion's not quite used to fighting Shadowlands creatures, so the immunity that it has to mundane weapons isn't quite clicking with him. So he's obviously very skilled, but his sword's just not cutting through that hide very well.
Typical lion, not understanding the wall.
Which makes her feel in a safe enough position to keep on her assault with you. Which one hit?
It's just a hit.
That one's not. But...
So that's 10 to me, which brings me into...
Oh no, that was her second attack.
Oh, okay.
Her damage isn't nearly as good.
Okay, so that's 5. And I'm still healthy.
Still healthy. Alright, it's your turn.
You know, I simply have to bring up the point right now that imagine if I'd, instead of going the very roundabout way I did to get heavy armor, had thought to buy Kaiju armor and gotten a rank 5 Kaiju armor. Imagine my sheer reduction at this point.
I know, I'm just... You and your reduction and Chris and his dueling skills, I'm just... don't know what to do with you guys. Alrighty.
Full attack.
Hey, here it is, Ken.
Wish there were raises.
Yeah.
Oh!
That's gonna be enough with your Jade and that reduction. You take your blade. Describe the death for me, Ken.
Well, we'll go into the belly and we'll basically open her up like she opens up the skin.
Nice. And with that, the creature lets out a loud, anguished yell, and kind of floats in the water, listless and dead. Much like your Heenan.
Yeah.
But she's on her back. She's still alive. She didn't get skinned yet.
Thankfully.
Thankfully. So, when you're back on shore, you get a stick and you pull her to shore. Let's see, does the Jade protect you from being exposed to the blood of a Shadowlands creature?
Let's see here. Character who carries a piece of jade on his person gains a +10 bonus to all rolls to resist gaining jade.
Oh, hey, from all rolls. That's pretty good. Alright, 276. Give me a second. Okay, you weren't swallowed by an Oni, and you didn't drink any tainted food or water. We'll say submerged in tainted liquid, so TN of 15, so make that earth roll for me and don't get a 4. There we go. And once again, the artist known as Ken. Oh hey, I get to see if you contract a bog hack disease real quick.
No.
You're fine. And once again, as it always is, Yasuki Matsuhide remains untainted.
Yes, untainted. Not a single point
Not even a single
that we know of.
Very good. All right, call the shots, man. What goes on? What goes forth from there?
Well, obviously, I dragged my Binoka out of the water.
Of course. What?
I'd probably head over to some less black liquidy water to, wash the black liquid off of myself.
Good plan. I mean, that's some high quality crab armor. You can't let Tank get on that.
And then I'd probably check how Toritaka's doing.
She's got some, her side's torn up pretty bad. Probably a broken rib. She goes, I think I'll be okay, though. Now that I'm not treading water. Good work. That was truly a... Right, let me read the description on this disease real quick. Alright. Anyone wounded by the bog hag's vile encrusted claws has a 1 in 5 chance of contracting a foul wasting disease. This disease causes skin boils, blisters, and weakness, reducing the victim's stamina by 1 rank per week until death. At 0 stamina, it can be cured with magic or a successful medicine roll at T and a 30. Okay. So, she's got 3 weeks to live. She can contract the disease later. Oh, I feel much better now I'm out of the water. That was very good work, you two. That was some fine slaying of Shadowlands demons. You should think about becoming a Jade Magistrate, Yasuki.
I don't know about that. I mean, I really don't have the knowledge for that.
Kin said with a smile. That might be true. With as tough as you seem, the wall might be your place. Because you and I withstood the same blow, or I guess all 3 of us withstood an attack from that thing's claws, and you seem to be the least injured of us all.
Well, I am the only one wearing my armor.
So true. And Akoto says, I think we should break the bad news to the inhabitants of the castle.
Indeed. They are not likely to be fully understanding what has occurred.
And, of course they aren't, but so you take them out to show them the slimy little monster that's floating around in their mistress's former skin. They come around to your side of the argument pretty quickly.
I'd also break the unfortunate news that the remains we found earlier were their real lord.
Yeah. Let's see.
And say that and probably ask that whether it was still around so it could be dealt with as a samurai.
Oh, yes. They get their Edda and they start to prepare the cremation ceremony. You guys stay for a few more days to settle everything out and, work the case over with Akoto. She's cremated and her ashes are buried with her ancestors, and some calls are made so her cousin can learn that she's inherited a province. You guys, let's see. You find in the basement there's what's remaining of Mia, Quickie, of Lady Mia's, the rest of her body. So you found out where the skin went, and now you know where the meat went. It was up on a meat hook.
Yep.
And
Oh God.
of course, the chef is promptly executed for feeding all the guards tainted meat. As some of them suddenly make a lot more sense of the weird growths they've been developing over the last few months. The Gaki stick around the island. However, now that the Bog Witch is dead, they no longer seem to be a malevolent force. Seems like all the blood-sucking ones and such have disappeared, and now it's just the ones that eat wood and such. Any other questions? And of course, after the 3 days, she starts to develop some pretty bad symptoms, and she's like, "Alright, you've done so much for me already, but I ask that you rush me towards Nisake because I'm starting to show signs that I'm contracting a very nasty disease."
I would, of course, help her along, and but okay.
Yes, sir. Our heroes ride off into the sunset. Any unanswered questions?
Dance horses.
Yeah, it's on a skiff and not.
Was the treasure actually findable? Like, was there an actual treasure or not?
Yeah, there was a treasure, and I suppose if you showed a true impetus towards finding it, we could work that out.
Well, probably would take too long, and he kind of needs to hurry along, and he's not so greedy as to risk another crab's life.
Yeah, but you've got this location marked down, and they owe you a few favors, so.
This is, I will come back here if I have the time and the liberty, and I don't have things that my lord has told me to do, and crab that I need to prevent from dying of horrible disease.
Yeah. Alright, give yourself 3 experience for going through all that.
Indeed. And just a quick question, was that actual canon? Just confirming.
Yeah, nothing too crazy happened.
Alrighty.
Weirdly enough, Toyuya was sticking around with you, but that's fine. And you killed a pretty nasty Shadowlands monster.
I also intimidated AJ Magistrate.
That's very true. And
I still can't believe that roll.
I mean, a 60 is pretty crazy. I know, and I had to think
Isn't 60 what they consider legendary or something?
Yeah.
Let me look at that table again.
I had to think about his character because I was like, okay, if he is really a Heenan, he'd be like, okay, every bad thing he'd ever done in his life, he would have just started spilling it towards you.
Yeah.
I was like, alright, this magistrate has to keep his cover going, so it's very